Hi folks, this is Karim Raouf from IT Visualizer channel. We will continue our lab, the Terminator lab. This is the video number 29. We have been discussing in the previous video the following. We have been working on deploying Windows 10 using the latest MDT toolkit in addition to the Windows deployment services. This is the video part 8. We have been walking in the footsteps of David Brother Barbarius documentation. He have already written some notes how to prepare an MDT and WDS lab. The first documentation or text file was the prerequisites. It was listing or it was talking about what programs we need in the deployment or in the MDT lab and what ISO images we need. For example, we need Windows 10 image, Windows 11 image, Windows Server 2002 or 2022 image. So there is a lot of prerequisites or a lot of programs and scripts, and so we need for the MDT lab and WDS to work. And then after finishing that text file, there is another text file which is the steps. Here is beginning to creating virtual machines, the requirement or the hardware requirement for these virtual machines, or the specs or the specifications of these virtual machines, how much RAM they will have, how much processor they will have. And then after that, the installation of the Windows operating system on these virtual machines. Some of them will be a primary domain controller, some of them will be a DHCP, some of them will be a file server. All of this we have discussed in the previous videos, so we are still following his footsteps, and then we have stopped the last time at this step, which is creating the DHCP and or not creating the DHCP, configuring the DHCP and configure of the WDS. Anyway, I have already in my lab or in the beginning of the lab, I have already configured, installed and configured the DHCP, and I need only in this video to configure the WDS and then configure additional programs like assessment deployment kit for Microsoft and this assessment deployment kit WinPE or Windows pre-environment. So we need to install these two programs, and then we need to install the MDT or Microsoft Deployment Toolkit, and then a couple of steps to configure the WDS. We will not configure MDT. We need, after installing the WDS, to configure some things in it. The FTP setting, we will change it to 16384. We will discuss that when it comes, or when we come to configuring the WDS. So in this lab, we will configure the WDS, install it and configure it, and then install the ADK and the ADK WinPE and the MDT, and batching the MDT. We all know there is an update for MDT because there was some problems this MDT batch or update will fix, and a couple of configuration changes to the MDT. We need to configure, or we need to do some changes to the MDT to help it to work efficiently, because there we will encounter some errors. These errors, because of some files not working properly, we will see that we need to change some files in MDT, and I will talk about why we need to change these files. Some of them will fix script errors during deployment, and some of them will fix some problems with the graphical interface of the MDT. Okay, when it comes to that, I will discuss with you what are the problems and how to read them, because there is some documentation for these errors, and how to fix them. Okay, so let's begin with our video. We will see that here I am opening the primary domain controller. Remember here, or in my previous video or couple of videos ago, we can see that I have already run a script to apply a certain lock screen. And I run this script on the domain controller and the file server. It was applied on the domain controller, but it was not applied on the file server. For some reason, I have discovered later that I have a group policy to force a certain lock screen and to prevent changing it. So I need to disable the group policy for forcing a certain lock screen, and to disable not changing it. So there are two policies: one to force a certain lock screen, and the other to prevent it changing the lock screen. We need to disable it, and once I have disabled them, the lock screen that was applied using the script, it was appearing again and it was working. Okay, remember in a couple of videos I have told you that it takes a certain time until the lock screen appears. That was not the case because the problem was with my group policy. And remember, even the big info, when I tried to configure it, it was not working because I have a certain group policy to force a certain background and prevent changing it. So this also didn't make the big info work. So you need to make sure if you are using big info and you are using a script to change the lock screen, you need to make sure that there are no group policies to force certain lock screens or certain backgrounds. So let me show you all how we can fix this problem quickly. Here we are making Control Alt Delete. This is the welcome banner. Let me see if I think I am recording. This is the banner. This is the domain admin account. And then we are logging into the domain controller and then opening the admin console. And then we need to go to the group policy that forces a certain background and a certain lock screen. It is very simple. These are two options. We go to the group policy management console and then open or maximize until we reach the Skynet HQ. Okay, and this is the group policy that forces a certain background and a certain lock screen. We will edit and then disable this group policy. Very simple. It is in the computer configuration. We need to go and open policies and then administrative templates, and then we need to go to the control panel as I remember. It will take some time. So we'll pause the video and then we will go to the control panel and then personalization, and then we can see here is the two group policies items for specific lock screen, default lock screen and login image. We will disable or we'll make it not configured, not disabled. We'll make it not configured and then apply and OK. And then the other one to prevent changing lock screen and login image. So this is another thing. Even though I have disabled the other one, but the other one is important, or I make it not configured, the other one is important because it will help me or it will prevent me from changing the lock screen. Anyway, so after disabling these two group policy items, when I restart or I power on my file server, you will see that the lock screen will appear the same as on this primary domain controller. So I will go now and initialize the file server. By the way, we will install MDT and WDS on this server. So now I'm powering the VM, and then it will take some time. Here we can see still the lock screen was not applied, but when you make input and then insert Control Alt Delete, you will see all the welcome banner, and then after that the lock screen will appear. So it was the group policy was blocking the script to apply the lock screen that we desire. Okay, the one for the Terminator robot. Okay, so you can see it's now applied. Now we need to log into the file server, and then we need to begin our process of installing the WDS and configuring it. But before configuring WDS, we need to make sure that we have a configured DHCP and see the different options, because Daniel Brother Barbarius assumes that you don't have a DHCP, okay, or you are not in a production environment, you don't have a DHCP. Anyway, I have a DHCP, and I'll show you all the configuration of the DHCP. Anyway, I have already done this before, but I will show you all the configuration. Anyway, disable NetBIOS, I don't recommend doing that, because I didn't do this in my production environment, and I think it's not a best practice to do that. Anyway, I think I need to ask the even the artificial intelligence or the artificial intelligence. Let's see here. Why do we need to disable, or what is the why we can or disable NetBIOS over TCP? Let's see if this option is useful for us. Let's see if there is maybe a reason for doing that. Let's go and ask Claude, why do we need to disable in the DHCP configuration? Okay, let's do that and see what is the reason, what is the purpose of doing that. Let's see if you will give us a good reason for doing that. Because this was a problem for me. I thought it's not uh, a wise decision to disable NetBIOS over TCP, because it is widely used. Okay, let's see what is that. Here is some key reasons why it is recommended to disable NetBIOS over TCP for the DHCP role. Okay, let's see that, but I think, let's see here. He is saying that removes unnecessary network traffic. NetBIOS create additional broadcast and session traffic on the network for name resolution. It is unnecessary for the HTTP server. This is unnecessary for the HTTP server. Disabling it removes the traffic overhead, eliminates NetBIOS name collision risk. Two systems trying to use the same NetBIOS can cause issues. The HTTP servers don't need NetBIOS names, so disabling avoids any name collision. Increase security. NetBIOS and when traffic is transmitted in clear text. Okay, disabling it enhances security by eliminating unneeded plain text protocol. This is very good. Follow best practice. Microsoft recommends disabling NetBIOS and wins for the HTTP. Oh, it is recommended by Microsoft. Disabling NetBIOS and wins for the HTTP roles as a security best practice since it is outdated technology and not needed for the HTTP services. Okay, that's good. Then Daniel is following the recommendations of Microsoft. Simplified networking. NetBIOS can duplicate troubleshooting on modern networks. Disabling can complicate troubleshooting on modern networks. Disabling simplifies the stack and administration. So in summary, disabling NetBIOS over TCP removes unnecessary traffic, security risk, and complexity for the HTTP server role, since it is an outdated protocol, not needed for core HTTP functions. It follows Microsoft recommendation. Very, very, very good. Okay, I need to see that in Brad as well, because I think this may be a good chance to see different. Let's see here what Ping has to say about that, and let's also see what Google Brad had to say about that. Okay, and see both of them. Okay, let's see here. Explain. Okay, so he is saying NetBIOS is a legacy protocol that is used for name resolution and file sharing. It's not secure as Neo protocol, so it's not secure. As DNS SMB, it can be a security risk. Disabling NetBIOS in the HTTP will prevent new clients from getting NetBIOS enabled by default. This can help to improve security by reducing the number of computers that are vulnerable to NetBIOS related attacks. So there is some reasons you might want to disable NetBIOS over TCP. Improve security, okay. Improve performance, okay. It causes up network bandwidth and CPU to comply with uh, security policies. Some organizations have security policies that require net BIOS to be disabled. Okay, if you are proceeding to that, you should weigh the benefits and drawbacks carefully. If you have any application that depend on net BIOS, this is a good one to focus. You will need to make sure that you will work after net BIOS is disabled. So by the way, some Windows operating system, older operating system and older applications may need net BIOS for communication. So this is a good thing to consider. Here are steps to disable net BIOS. Anyway, this is the step. We'll show you how you can do that and then how to disable it. Okay, and this is the way to do it. But let's see, I need to see the question. Let's go and copy like that and go and paste it like that and see what should, let's see what he has to say about that. So this is good. Okay, all of them have or they are all saying the same answer. Okay, that it is an outdated protocol and this causes security hazards. Okay, so we can see that here. It's vulnerable to poison attack. Okay, so here is saying the same one. Okay, mostly this is a good thing. I didn't consider that. So it is enabled by default. This is one thing. Okay, so it is enabled by default. If we go there, we will see that NetBIOS is enabled by default. Okay, so this is one thing. This is a good thing to do or to know. Okay, so now we need to follow the steps of Daniel Brother Barbarius. And if you need to go and, or I didn't record this in my video, of course, but you can see the steps or how to do that. Here he is, Google Bard is saying it. Here you can go from the SP Manager console, click the scope to configure and select configure options. Click on Advanced tab. In the vendor class list, select Microsoft 2000 options. Make sure the default user class is selected in the user class list. Select the checkbox for 001 Microsoft Disable NetBIOS option under available options. In the data entry area, type 0x in the long box, click OK. So this is the way to do that. Okay, this is a good info to know. So let's continue. A good thing to know actually, even though I was working in a production environment, we didn't disable NetBIOS, but I think because we have some applications that depend on NetBIOS, I think this maybe was the issue. I think this was the issue. So a good thing to know. Okay, so disabling NetBIOS only on the DHCP, because I think NetBIOS is used in the domain, okay, and the DNS, I remember, as far as I remember, not the DNS, the WINS, but it's not working. Anyway, so we need to, what we need to do now, we need to, I think we need to see the DHCP, okay, we need to go, I will show you all the configuration, and we will see a couple of things here I have disabled. So let's wait and see. So a good thing to know actually, I didn't record this before, I didn't see this coming. I thought the NetBIOS, it is good to leave it. Anyway, so this is a good thing. Here is the DHCP configuration, and we can see here that this is IP version 4. You will see the scope. Okay, and now we can see the address pool 120 to 120.20 or 120.20.20.20, and this is the scope, the DNS, the domain name, the router, and then here is the filters. Here we disabled allow and deny filters because I need all of the clients to communicate with the DHCP server to take an IP address. This will help it to communicate with the WDS and the MDT. So we need to disable both of them. Okay. If you need to secure that, you need to take all of the MAC addresses of all of the machines that you need to deploy Windows 10 on it and put it in the allow section. Anyway, so I will leave that because I am in a secure environment. So all of the workstations are in a secure environment physically, and I am monitoring the situation, so we will disable both of them. Okay, but after finishing the deployment, we need to enable them again and put all of the machines in the allow section. Anyway, so you can see here, if you need to create a scope, you can do that. Right click and create a scope. Anyway, so we have this already done. We need now to install the WDS. So this is very simple. We need to go to manage and then tell him add roles and features. Next. Configure. First you need to here he is saying that we need maybe to pin the DHCP console to the taskbar. This can be done, or we can make a custom console and put the DHCP console and WDS console and MDT all in one custom console. Okay, we have done this before many times. Okay, so now we need to go and tell him next. Then next, here is the server and the IP address. Next, and then if we try to select Windows deployment services and then add features, and then next, next, and then next, next, and then we tell him to restart the destination server automatically if required. Okay, and then install. Okay, and then pause the video. Now it is already installed. Now we need to open and begin configuring it. And by the way, a best practice is not to install the WDS and the DHCP on one server. It is possible to do that, by the way, and they will work. But it is the best practice to separate both of them. The WDS to be separated from the DHCP, because both listen to requests from clients on the same port. Okay, if you configure them both on a server, then the WS will shift to another port to listen to client requests through it. Okay, but anyway, it is a good or a best practice to separate WDS from the DHCP. Okay, let's also, I think I need to ask the AI, because I think I have already this info. Uh, uh, is it a best practice not to install DHCP and WDS on one server? As far as I remember that this was the recommendation for Microsoft. Yes, generally consider best practice not to install DHCP and WDS on the same server. This is because both servers use the same UDP port 67, and if there is a conflict, it can cause problems. Here are some of the problems. Anyway, I remember that you can configure them both on the same server, but here the WDS will listen on port 60. Okay, so it will change the port from listening to port 67 to port 60. Anyway, so this is a good thing to know. So this is my info is updated or it's not outdated. Okay, so now we need to go and to pin the DHCP to the taskbar. Right click, and pin it to the taskbar, and then we can open the server manager and begin installing I think we have already installed the WDS, so we need to pin the DHCP and the WDS consoles, both of them, to the taskbar, and then open the WDS console to configure or to initially configure the WDS. As we see, there is some slowness in these virtual machines. As I said before, I don't have uh, enough hardware or limited hardware to work with especially in creating virtual machines. Anyway, so we'll pin this Windows Deployment Services console to the taskbar, and now we need to open the Windows Deployment Services console and begin the initial configuration. As we will see that he detects that he has already or he have another role installed beside it, which is here we can right click and configure. Let me go further. I need to do, or I need to let me all see some things said. Okay, this is very critical. If you open that and then right click and configure, okay, configure the server. Here we can see here is some, before you begin, ensure the following requirements are met. This is a member server. It's a member server. It has an active DHCP. You have an active DHCP that relies on PXE boot. Okay, that's it. We have a DNS server. We have a partition on this server or on the WDS server to store images. So we have all of these are fulfilled. Okay, so we can go and continue working. Now he's saying that you have two options: an integrated with Active Directory or a standalone. We need it to be integrated with Active Directory. It's a member server, or it's a member in a domain. And then here is another point or another best practice. We need to the remote install. This is here that will hold. Here is saying that will contain boot images. Okay, so this is the partition, or sorry, this is the folder that will contain the boot image. This is a mini image that will be used by the client. So this is the first thing the client will load. It will load a mini system. This system, its only used or its only purpose is to install or to deploy the Windows 10 image, captured image. So this is only a mini system that will allow the client, or it will allow us to monitor the MDT deployment and allow the client to communicate with the MDT and begin deploying the Windows 10 image. Anyway, so best practice is not to save it on the C partition. We need to put it on another partition. So the remote installation folder will contain boot images, install images. This will not be the case. We will put the boot images in it. The install images will be hosted by the MDT. Okay, so he's saying that will contain the boot images. This will contain the boot image. So we need to take good focus on that. Okay, so we'll put it in the E partition. This is where I will put my MDT folders. Okay, it will be in the E partition. So this is one best practice. We put it the E. Here we put it in the E partition. Okay, so tell him next. Must be NTFS. Here we can see that here that he is saying that is running on the server. So he had detected that the HTTP is running on this server. Check both of the following boxes. So we need to check both of them. Do not listen on the HTTP and DHCP version 6 ports. So here, what he's saying here, that check the first box and manually configure the HTTP option 60 and DHCP vendor class. Anyway, so this is a non-all. It's a non-Microsoft. So here we can see, I think the HTTP is listening on port 60, and it will, I think it will work, or it will work with port 67. Okay, so yes, we will check both of them if we are installing it on the same server that hosts the DHCP. Anyway, so we'll continue next. And then another thing here, when the client connect to the DHCP and take an IP address, the next step is to communicate with WDS. Here I'm saying him to respond to all client computers. You can, if a client try to communicate with WDS after taking an IP address from the HCP, it can be held or it can be contaminated until you give it the permission to communicate with the WDS. Anyway, we need to automate the process. so I don't need any interfere, because here if I choose to do not or to require admin approval, so I need every time a client connect to WDS, I need to go and approve his connection to the WDS. So we need to make it automated, so we tell him respond to all computer clients, known and unknown. This is if you are sure of your environment, okay, and we are sure of our environment, so this is only in this case. But in a secure way or in secure environment, maybe you need to choose the other option, or to require administrative approval for unknown computers. Maybe this is can be one good option to use. Okay, anyway, so we tell him next. Then we will begin configuring the Windows deployment services. This will take some time. Maybe I need to pass this real quickly. Okay, don't worry about this error, because this is very simple. You can just right click and tell him to start the service. But here first we go to properties and then TFTP and the option maximum block size. Okay, what is the maximum block size? What is TFTP? And what is the relation of TFTP to the WDS? These are all answers, or are all things I asked the AI. So let's go and see what Google Bard has to say about that. So let's go and see what does it say. So if you go further here, the first option here, I asked him what the changing it. So here Daniel needs to change it from 0, okay, from 0 to 16384. So let's see what Google Bard has to say about that, or Google Bard has to say about that.
The maximum block size option in the TFTP tab in WDS is the maximum number of bytes that can be transferred in a single TFTP packet. The default value is 1456 bytes, but it can be changed to a maximum of 16,384 bytes. Changing the maximum block size to 16,384 can improve the performance of WDS deployments by reducing the number of TFTP packets that need to be sent. However, it is important to note that not all network adapters and routers support a maximum block size of 16,384 bytes. If the network adapter or router does not support a maximum block size of 16,384 bytes, then the deployment will fail. Here are some of the factors to consider when changing the maximum block size: the size of the files that are being transferred. Larger files will benefit more from a larger maximum block size. The network bandwidth. A larger maximum block size will require more network bandwidth. The network adapter and router support. Make sure that the network adapter and router support the maximum block size that you want to use. If you are not sure whether to change the maximum block size, it is best to leave it at the default value of 1456 bytes. Here are the steps on how to change the maximum block size in WDS. 1. Open the WDS console. 2. Right-click on the WDS server in the left pane and select Properties. 3. Click on the TFTP tab. 4. In the maximum block size field, enter the desired value. 5. Click OK. The WDS server will be restarted automatically.
So this is why we need to change the maximum block size to be 16384. This will increase the speed of the deployment of if you are deploying images through the WDS, or if even this will make loading the boot image faster. Okay, so this is why we need to use or to change the maximum block size. It is basically changes the packet size that are sent from the client to the WDS and vice versa. You increase the packet size. So as long as you increase the packet size, this will decrease the time, the deployment of the image and the loading of the boot image. So this is one thing. But here there is one option here. This you need to make sure that your network adapters and routers can support this large packet size. So this is one thing, and I have said this before. So this is one thing. And another question here: what is TFTP and what does it do and its relation with WDS. So this is also another question, why WDS use TFTP and what does it do and what is the relation with the WDS. So let's hear also Google Bard have to say about that, or Google Bard has to say about that.
TFTP stands for Trivial File Transfer Protocol. It is a simple file transfer protocol that is used to transfer files between computers over a network. TFTP is a UDP-based protocol, which means that it is unreliable and does not provide any error checking or data integrity. However, it is also very lightweight and easy to implement, which makes it ideal for transferring small files, such as boot images and configuration files. WDS stands for Windows Deployment Services. It is a Microsoft technology that allows you to deploy Windows images to computers over a network. WDS uses TFTP to transfer the boot image to the target computer. The boot image then loads a PXE, pre-boot execution environment, which allows the computer to download the Windows image from the WDS server. In summary, TFTP is a simple file transfer protocol that is used by WDS to transfer the boot image to the target computer. WDS then uses the PXE environment to download the Windows image from the WDS server. Here are some of the benefits of using TFTP with WDS. It is a simple and lightweight protocol, which makes it easy to implement and manage. It is fast and efficient, which can help to improve the deployment process. It is supported by a wide range of devices, which makes it a versatile solution for deploying Windows images. Here are some of the limitations of using TFTP with WDS. It is an unreliable protocol, which means that there is a risk of data corruption. It does not support encryption, which means that the data being transferred is not secure. It is not suitable for transferring large files. Overall, TFTP is a simple and effective way to transfer boot images to target computers using WDS. However, it is important to be aware of its limitations and take steps to mitigate the risks.
So here we can see that it is better for transferring boot images, but not Windows images or Windows capture images, because they are large. The boot files are small, okay? So I think it is better to deploy Windows captured images using the MDT, not the WDS, okay? So this is one thing to consider. Okay, then this is for the TFTP and the maximum size. Let's see let's go and see. Let me show you all another thing for or Google, or Claude. Okay, here is Claude is saying the maximum block size option, TFTP tab of Windows deployment services, refers to the maximum TFTP packet size that WDS will use when serving boot images or files over the network. Here, this is not a correct value because it's 1496. Okay, this is not 4096. This means WDS will transfer files using TFTP packets of up to 4096 bytes each. No, this is not correct. Changing the value means WDS will use a maximum packet size of so and so 16 kilobytes for TFTP transfers instead of default. Each packet will contain up to 16 KB of data instead of 4, or of I think it's 1 mega, not 4, or 1K. Okay, increasing this value can improve FTP's transfer speed and efficiency when sending large boot images. Okay, this is not it's not typical correct, because boot images are not large, and it does not work efficiently with large files. Fewer overall packets need to be sent for the same amount. Fewer overall packets need to be sent for the same amount of data. There is less packet overhead with large packet sizes. Okay, however, there are some few caveats. All devices and network components must support 16 KB. Okay, this router and network adapters should support this packet size or data packet size. TFTP is generally more efficient with smaller packet sizes. Okay, so 16 KB works best for very fast modern networks. Lower values are better for older and slower network. Testing different values can determine the optimal setting. Okay, what is TFTP and what does it do, and what it is the relation with WDS? Another answer. TFTP stands for Trivial File Transfer Protocol. It is a simple protocol used to transfer files over a network. Here is the overview of what TFTP does and its relationship with Windows deployment services. We can see here that the AI is giving us tremendous data, and all of them are logical and very detailed. Okay, TFTP is used for transferring small files between devices over a local network. This is correct because it doesn't support large files, or it is not good in large files. It is simpler than other transfer protocols like FTP, but only supports basic transfer functions. TFTP uses UDP as its transport protocol and transfer data in blocks of fixed size. It was designed to be small and easy to implement for basic devices. WDS uses TFTP to send boot images, OS files, and deployment configuration to PXE clients. Here I prefer it to use only in boot images because they are small. It will not work perfectly with the other ones. Anyway, so when a client boots via PXE to WDS, the boot image is transferred using TFTP. The client then uses TFTP again to retrieve the OS image. We will not do this through the WDS and other deployment files from WDS. TFTP allows transferring these files without needing complex security or transfer features, so it is not secure. Okay. WDS can be configured to optimize TFTP setting like block size for faster transfer. In summary, TFTP is a simple file transfer protocol used by WDS to send boot and deployment files to clients since it is small and easy to implement on the client side. WDS utilizes it to optimize and secure transfer protocol. Anyway, so this is basically what it says, and the same says Ping AI, they say the same. So this is why we need to change the block size and its relation, so we have full details about why do we need the WDS and the configuration of the WDS and the changing of the WDS setting. So we'll change that, apply and OK, and then we will start the service. Okay, successfully started Windows deployment services. So now we have WDS functioning or function. Then we need to begin a configuration of the ADK, okay, or Assessment Deployment Toolkit and Assessment Deployment Toolkit PE. Let's first see some brief about what is ADK. So let's see, also I have Google Bard saying that, okay. Here what is Windows ADK and Windows ADK PE and their relation with MDT. So let's see what Google Bard has to say about that.
The Windows Assessment and Deployment Kit, ADK, is a set of tools and utilities that can be used to assess and deploy Windows operating systems. It includes tools for creating and managing boot images, capturing and deploying operating system images, and customizing Windows installations. The Windows Pre-Installation Environment, P, is a lightweight operating system that is used to boot computers and run deployment tools. It is included in the Windows ADK. The Microsoft Deployment Toolkit, MDT, is a collection of tools and scripts that can be used to automate the deployment of Windows operating systems. It uses the Windows ADK and Windows P to create and deploy operating system images. The relationship between the Windows ADK, Windows P, and MDT is as follows. The Windows ADK provides the tools and utilities that are used to create and manage boot images and deploy operating system images. The Windows P is a lightweight operating system that is used to boot computers and run deployment tools. It is included in the Windows ADK. The MDT is a collection of tools and scripts that can be used to automate the deployment of Windows operating systems. It uses the Windows ADK and Windows P to create and deploy operating system images. In summary, the Windows ADK, Windows P, and MDT are all tools that can be used to deploy Windows operating systems. The Windows ADK provides the tools and utilities, the Windows P is a lightweight operating system, and the MDT is a collection of tools and scripts that can be used to automate the deployment process. Here are some of the benefits of using the Windows ADK, Windows P, and MDT together. It can help to automate the deployment process, which can save time and reduce errors. It can help to ensure that all computers are deployed with the same configuration, which can improve consistency and security. It can help to deploy Windows operating systems to a wide range of devices, including desktops, laptops, and servers. If you are planning to deploy Windows operating systems to a large number of computers, then the Windows ADK, Windows P, and MDT are a good option to consider.
So here in Windows ADK and MDT are both tools to automate deployment of Windows 10, and Windows PE, it is the boot image that will be used by the MDT to make the clients communicate with the MDT, okay, and begin the deployment process. Okay, this is one thing, the relation between all of them. Let's see what does what does Claude 2 has to say about that. So let's go and continue. I think I have said to him what is the relationship. Let's go further. No, there is another thing here. Okay, here what is ADK and Windows and ADK PE and the relation with MDT. Windows ADK Assessment Deployment Kit and Windows ADK PE Pre-installation Environment are toolkits provided by Microsoft that are commonly used with the Microsoft Deployment Toolkit for OS deployment. ADK includes deployment tools for deploying Windows like MDT integration, so it is integrated with MDT. Windows PE, a lightweight version of Windows used for deployment, diagnostic, and recovery. Additional resources like documentation and samples. Windows ADK, this is the Windows ADK, what does it includes. Windows ADK PE specially refers to the Windows pre-installation environment component in the ADK. Key points. MDT uses ADK components for OS deployment, so this is the relation between both. Windows PE is used by MDT when booting deployment computers. This is used at the boot image. Windows ADK must be installed for MDT to function. Okay, so it is related, very closely related. MDT will not work unless ADK is installed. Boot images in MDT are built using Windows ADK PE. So here this is another info. Booting image of MDT are built on Windows ADK PE. Okay, so this is a summary. Windows ADK provides necessary tools, and Windows PE, this both ADK and WinPE that work together with MDT to enable automated OS deployment. They are heavily integrated together. Installing ADK is a prerequisite. So this is one thing Google Bard didn't say that. Okay, so this is another thing or another advantage of using both or using different AI tools. You will get different answers, or you will get additional info from every tool, but you need to make sure it is correct, and I have already worked with MDT, so I know this info is correct. Until the AI is we are completely sure of the data, still there is some misleading results, okay, concerning this data displayed by these AI tools. Okay, so this is another thing. We will install the ADK. So we have it in the MDT lab folder. Okay, so we go to Terminator updated, and then MDT lab, and then files, and then prerequisites, and then ADK, and then here this is the ADK for Windows 11. This is the ADK setup, and then it should be installed. So in order, the ADK should be installed. The ADK PE is installed after that. No, I think yes, ADK and then ADK PE and then MDT and then batching the MDT. So this is the correct sequence. Well, let's see now. We will see that in a moment. So you can go further. So here you go. Here it will be installed in C program files. Next. So it will take some time. Okay. Again. Then we will accept the license agreement. Okay. License agreement and other options. Okay. Install, and here we can see that there are a lot of options. We don't need all of them. They are useful tools, by the way. There is Windows Performance Toolkit. This is useful. User State Migration Tool, Configuration Designer, and Imaging Configuration Designer. Both are used for automating deployment of images of Windows images. We need only the deployment tools and the user state tool. All of these are not necessary, but you can check them one by one and query AI tools about them. Okay, so we'll uncheck all of them. Okay, and then we have the deployment tools. Okay, and then next. It will take some time. I don't know if I will pause the video or not anyway, so this will take some time, of course. Okay, and then you can see 76%. Okay, and at the end it should be installed. We will pause again until it is finished. 96%. And then the last pause. Okay, now it is finished. We need to install the ADK PE, the other one. Okay, the ADK PE, yes, this is the correct sequence, and then we install the MDT. Okay, and then the update for the MDT. This is the upcoming steps. This will take some time to be installed in the same location as the ADK. So ADK PE will be installed in the same location as ADK PE will be installed in the same location as ADK. Okay, or Windows ADK. Anyway, so this is correct, or 74%, and then 88, and then okay, now it is installed. So now we need to go and install the MDT, the next step. Okay, so very simple. We have the MDT. Here you go. This is the MDT toolkit, and then we need to install the Windows Deployment Toolkit. And after that, before batching it or before installing the MDT update, we need to force a certain background for the MDT deployment process. So during the deployment, MDT will have a fixed background. We need to change it with another background of our chosen or our selection. Okay, and these two scripts which will be added to the MDT environment. We need both of them. Later I will discuss what they do exactly. Anyway, so this is the Microsoft Deployment Toolkit. It is installed, or it is already initializing the setup. Next, and then accept license agreement. Next, and then next, and then install, or next and then install. So now here is the other tricks that we will do. We need to go to a certain location in the MDT folder, or the location where the MDT is installed, and change the background, okay, that will be displayed during the MDT deployment process. You will see that when we come to the practical side of deploying a Windows image. We will see that, and we see that the image displayed during the MDT will be the one for the robot, and beside it Skynet. We will see that. Okay, this is to customize your deployment, okay, according to the company. Maybe you need to put a background for the company that you are deploying this Windows 10 operating systems to it. Okay, so now this is the MDT deployment. It is already finished. Now we can go and select the three files, okay, and put the background in a certain location and these two files in another location. So we'll copy them and put them on the desktop. So right click and copy them. Okay, so right click and copy and then put it on the desktop. Okay, this is it. And then we need the update. This is the update that we will apply for MDT. It's not an installation file, it's just changing a file with another file. Okay, so this is what we mean by update. It is not installing an update, okay, or set up an update. It's just changing some files. Anyway, so now we need to go first and change the background of the MDT. This is one thing, and put these two scripts or add these two scripts to the MDT scripts. Okay, this is the benchmark. We need to pin it for the taskbar. This from there we will access the MDT. So now we need to pin it. We have already pinned it. We need to batch. Okay, so the batch is done before the deployment or before copying the scripts and the background. So we will batch first the MDT. We will open the server and then go to a certain location. Okay, program files, and then deployment toolkit, and then samples, and then here is the default background for the MDT deployment. Okay, we will rename it to old. Okay, and take our background and put it there. Okay, so this is how we change the default MDT deployment background. Okay, then we need to go to templates, and again go to distribution, and then go to tools, and then we need to change these two files. This is how we can patch the MDT or to update the MDT. It is an update, I think, to fix some problems. Okay, so we'll copy and then paste, replace both of these files. Okay, it will take some time, and then copy. Okay, and then paste. So we will replace the two files. So another step remaining is to copy the two scripts. Okay, and then I think we will be finished, or I think we have already done most of what uh, Daniel has said, but let me go further because I think I need to pause the video. Okay, I will pause it. Now we will replace these two files. Okay, and we need to copy the two scripts and put it in a certain location. This is another thing. Okay, so I need to go to scripts. Here you go. This is scripts of the MDT. We will add additional two scripts to the default MDT scripts. So we need to first delete all of the unnecessary files from our desktop on the server. So we'll shift delete. Okay, all of these files, we don't need them anymore. And then we will copy these two scripts and put it to the default scripts of the MDT environment. So we'll cut and then put it in scripts, paste. One will be replaced because there is a script with the same name, or the two have the same name. They are tweaked, or these are modified files with the same name of the original files. Anyway, so we have done this. We have done all of what Daniel has said to us, but there is one other thing we need to focus on. Let me show you this text file, and this is from my experience with the MDT and ADK. Two errors appeared during my working with the MDT and ADK. One of them is called fixes, or something called script error. This was not discussed by Daniel Brother Barbaris. I have discovered it during working with MDT. It is something to fix, or this is an error, and it will be fixed by changing this file with another file with the same name. So this file, we need to change some setting in it. So I have already another file with the same name, and the configuration of it changed. I need to replace it. Okay, replace this file with another file. Okay, to fix this script error. And another thing, when you open the MDT, you have two tabs, one for the 64-bit systems and the other for the 86-bit systems. The 86-bit systems, when you try to open it, it will crash the MDT. So this is another error that need to be fixed by changing or adding another file, or by adding a file. Okay, this was discussed by Daniel Brother Barbaris. So this one was not discussed by him. I have discovered it, and I have seen, or I will show you all how we can see the different or the known issues for MDT. There is a website that contains all of the famous errors. Okay, for the MDT. Okay, and this is done regularly, by the way. ADKs and MDTs has already a lot of errors over the time. Okay, so every version of ADK has its own errors, and MDT have the same. You need to read and see the famous or known issues. I will show you all how you can get the known issues for every ADK version and MDT version. So let's go first and fix these two, or to do these two tweaks. Okay, so we need to go to the folder. Okay, this folder. First of all, I have a file. Let me go to the source file. I have MDT lab. I have a file. Let's go to AD collection, and then you go to the MDT, or this is Terminator updated, and then MDT lab, and then here you can see this is something called unattended PEX4. This is a file that configuration of it is changed. Okay, so I need to copy it and replace it with the file that doesn't have its configuration changed. Okay, so they are with the same name. So let's go and change it, copy, and then go paste it on the desktop, and then we need to go also and get the other file. There is another file that should be added to the MDT. We go to the ADK, or this is related to the ADK actually. This is called crash fix. We'll paste, and we'll see the fix. So these are two famous fixes for famous problems with the MDT and the ADK. Okay, so it will take some time. We can run this quickly. Okay, so now we need to go to, let me go further again. Let's here see. So now we will go to the first location, okay, to change the unattended PE 64-bit XML file. So we'll go to C, and then program files, I think, yes, in program files, C program files, deployment toolkit, okay, deployment toolkit, and then go to the templates, okay, and then here is the file. It is in this location. So we'll copy the file and replace it. Okay, so when we copy, we'll see that says that there is another file with the same name. So we'll copy and then paste. Okay, replace selected file or destination, and then we need to fix the other thing related to the ADK. Okay, so we need to go to C program files 86, okay, and then change or add a file. It will be added. It's not replacing, it is adding another file. Okay, so we go to program files, and then go to kits, Windows 10 assessment and deployment kit, and then Windows pre-installation environment. This is related to the pre-installation environment. So we'll copy this folder and put it in the location. Okay, paste. And then I think with this we can say that our video has come to an end. I think in the upcoming video we'll begin working with the MDT. We'll begin making tasks to deploy, first to capture Windows 10 images, capture images, and the task will not only capture, it will capture and will add programs, install programs, and make sysprep to this image. So there is a lot of things concerning the MDT task, but this will be in the upcoming video. We can pass this real quickly like that. Okay, we can go further. So the copy is done. So now I think now we will begin. Here I am closing the servers. So this is, I think, here right click and shut down. I will do the same with the other ones. So shut down, and we will do the same with the server or the primary domain controller. We will shut down the server. And another thing I need to stress on, here is the link, okay, for the known issues. Okay, here you go. Let me show you all. This is called Microsoft Deployment Toolkit Known Issues. Okay, this is the link. Okay, take good look on it. Here it is saying the most known issues for the Microsoft deployment. Okay, we will see that one of them, the script error, was listed here. Okay, and I saw I saw the solve solution, or the solution for solving this error was listed here. These are the known issues with the MDT. We will see this is related to the MDT. Okay, But as for the ADK, I think it is not listed here. Okay, you can say the same. Search for Windows ADK known issues. Okay, here this is the script error. Okay, this is the script error, and this is the changing, or this is how you can change the file. Okay, or the XML file. So this is how we can see the known issues. Okay, these are all issues related to the MDT. Okay, and this happens regularly. You'll see always errors with the MDT and the ADK. So I think this concludes our video. Hope this video is informative for you all, and thank you all for viewing. Thank you so much.